Welcome back. We are talking Namibia election results 2019, Toivu. And slowly but surely, some new constituency results coming in that has been verified by the Electoral Commission of Namibia. What is the latest picture, Toivu?
Okay, so let's go to our map. We'll just show three aspects of the elections. Let's start with the presidential race, where we are so far. So 9 constituencies are in. We have just added the Daures constituency in the Erongo region now, and what it gives us is a picture of President Hage Geingob leading by 48% of the vote so far in 9 constituencies, followed by his closest rival, Panduleni Itula, at 25% of the vote in those 9 constituencies. And of course, Bernardus Swartboy in the 3rd position, and so forth and so forth. The lowest votes so far are with Mukwilongo. Epaphrans, we know that he has withdrawn from the presidential race. Maybe that also affected the voting there. But this, the second lowest votes are by Ignatius Shuhameni of APP, at still struggling to make his first percentage of the vote. So that is the presidential race so far. Let's look at the National Assembly results so far. It's loading, but you see that nearly 50,000 votes have been counted so far, with SWAPO taking 24,000 so far of those votes that have been counted, and PDM, the official opposition party, right behind, of course by a distance of only 9,700 votes. And LPM is the new kid on the block, is in 3rd position. The lowest votes so far are from Martin Lukato's party, NDP, with only 178 votes for the party so far of the 50,000, nearly 50,000 that has been counted. The last slide that I would like to show is of the maps, so that we see where magic is happening. So I will go directly to the map that shows constituencies in particular, where it shows, please bear with me, there it is. So we have let me see, okay, we have in the Far East, Mukwe constituency, for example, in the Kavango region, in the Kavango East region. Those are the results so far. SWAPO leading by a healthy nearly 5,000 votes. And maybe just to check up south, in the south, Kietmans, again SWAPO there by, as a matter of fact, LPM there leading with nearly 2,000 votes in what has been counted so far. And this has been the trend, Danny, so far the day, and it's likely to go this way as the day progresses.
Indeed, Toivu, quite interesting. Remember, go to elections.my.na to our website to view all of those approved results. Frank Stephan, editor Allgemeine Zeitung, is back with us to share some new information.
Yeah, obviously we don't have as many clips as we had yesterday, but they're still coming in. So one of the first ones we would like to show you is the Collation Center in Kavango East, where Kenya Kambove took a couple of, or actually took a video which shows how the people submit their results one by one. If I say the people, it's actually one EVM at a time. Well, finally there it is going. you can see there's not much to be commented on, but it's a tedious process, which obviously needs to be that way, because they want to confirm each and every time that there's no problem there and so on. Which, by the way, we've had some mails of, apparently in Tsumeb there's quite a problem with the EVM collation machine. So, but they're busy sorting that out, so maybe it will come right very fast. That was something that our Getu Greg told us. And then we've got some further videos for you. Actually, there are three that sort of come in a row. It's a problem when the videos become too big, we can't post them all in one. So the one is a continuation of the next, where they've also, they're announcing the results from the Collation Center in Otjiwarongo on the Perez's showgrounds.
SWANPO of Namibia 6-4, SWAPO Party of Namibia 5-8-6-4, United Democratic Front of Namibia 3-9-9, Workers Revolutionary Party 4-0. Our total result again is 9-5-3-2. Thank you. Popular Democratic Movement is 1673, not to attend necessary. Namibian Patriotic Front of Namibia 1-9, National Unity Democratic Organization of Namibia NUDO 2-1-3, Popular Democratic Movement 1672, Rally for Democracy and Progress 105, Republican Party of Namibia 302, SWANPO of Namibia 6-4, SWAPO Party of Namibia 5-8-6-4, United Democratic Front of Namibia 3-9-9. Welcome.
Yes, and shortly after that, Jana Marie put a third video out. This is where the officials are now carrying the boxes over to their vehicles to be taken to the next center. Clearly, these people were quite tired. One person telling Jana Marie Smit on the spot there that she hasn't slept since yesterday. They were supposed to bring some sleeping stuff along with them, sleeping bags and pillows and whatever. She actually took a photo of them, but they never really got the chance to use them last night. So obviously these guys have been busy for more than 24 hours. But this clip is quite telling. They behave like family at this stage.
You are excused, my dear.
I'm not a dear, my dear.
Okay, as you can see, people are tired at this point. Can't blame them. Yesterday evening when we left here and we went to vote, we could clearly see that these people had been working like under heavy conditions in the sun, and I suppose they've deserved their break now. That's
Thank
it.
you very much, Frank. Coming back to us in front here, a while ago we looked at the latest results, Toivo, and this is going to be one of the biggest discussion points today and until whenever the final results are released. And I'm quickly just going to sketch the picture for you. In 89 constituent assembly elections, SWAPO won 57% of the vote, and after that, from 94 until 2014, so that's a time frame, Toivo, of a quarter of a century, 25 years. They moved from 74% of the National Assembly votes, building a bit up 76, falling a bit in the tenure of President Pohamba to 74. And then before the election of President Hage Geingob climbed to a high point of 80%. And Geingob himself had a rating or a mandate of 87%. And what is important here is also that the presidential candidate of SWAPO since the time of former President Sam Nujoma never received less votes than the SWAPO party. And we know it's early days, only 9 constituencies, but that picture looks different at the moment. And we again say, obviously, the big SWAPO areas, those results are still going to come in. But at this point, Dr. Geingob, 49% of the presidential election votes, and SWAPO a bit more than 50. I had to calculate that quickly, but of course there's not a lot of National Assembly results in yet. So your take on that, do you agree also that this is going to be one of the biggest issues here?
I think, Danny, the demographics as they appear now actually speak to the predictions that have been made, that for the first time we may see a SWAPO president receiving less votes than the party itself, partially because, of course, the party has 2 members who are running in this election, the official candidate and then the one that is running as an independent, but also still within the party. So the presidential vote is split in that context. But what we are seeing, like you said, of course, the SWAPO strongholds, the results will still come in. But at 54%, that is not a good number for SWAPO, the SWAPO that we got used to know in the past couple of years.
You must stay tuned, because in a little while from now we're going to speak to Eleni Nanjatu up in Oshakati. Now that is a very, very important place in the country of Namibia. So stay tuned, please. We're going to quickly break and play you 2 clips that Denver Kisting took. Now, first of all, he spoke to an employee of the Rehoboth Town Council, and he also had an interview with a person at the Rehoboth Urban West constituency.
I'm at the Teachers Resource Center in Rehoboth. It's also the collation center for the Rehoboth Urban West constituency. And with me is the returning officer for this constituency. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well too, thank you. Please tell us, how did yesterday go?
Well, yesterday we woke up very early, and then we started our pre-poll very, very early. At 5:30 we were already up and doing our pre-poll, and by 7 o'clock the first voter cast their vote. Yeah, I was at Kabuki.
Yes.
That was my first polling station, and all the others also started on time, and we didn't have any other incident. These unusual things, except just the normal one where we had a case whereby a person showed up.
Yeah.
But on the VVD it says that the person was dead.
Wow.
But we were prepared to handle such cases. But
how did you deal with that particular case?
There's a form called Elect 27. That one is catering for those ones for the names that are not appearing on the VVD. So we treated that case as not appearing on the VVD because the person is right in front of us and is having both the voter's card and the ID.
So the person was in fact alive?
Yes.
And allowed to vote?
Yes.
What time was the final vote cast last night?
Here at TLC at 9 o'clock there was nobody in the queue, but at RPS it went beyond 9. I think around 10 there, that's when the last voter cast their vote.
Very well. And you've just shared with me the final collated results for this constituency.
Yes.
What time were you done counting?
Well, the counting started a little bit late because we had to wait for the teams that were in the camps. And we started around 2, if I'm not mistaken. And then the counting ended around 5. We were done with both national and presidential.
Thank you very much, and thank you for what you also did as far as these elections are concerned. It's exactly 1 day after the Namibians went to the polls yesterday in the National Assembly and presidential 2019 elections. With me is a municipal employee at the Rebot Town Council. Goeiemôre meneer.
Goedemorgen meneer.
Hoe gaat het met u vandaag?
Nee, dit gaat goed.
Dit gaan goed.
Ja.
Het u gister deelgeneem aan die verkiesings? U het gestem gister.
Ja, ik heb gestemd.
En hoe het dit gegaan?
Het mooi gelopen.
Mooi geloop.
Ja.
En het u al gehoor van uitslae vandag oor wie goed gevaar het gister?
Ja.
En dink u die land is reg vir die nuus?
Ja, ik denk die zal nou recht wees.
Enige iets wat u nog wil sê vir ons?
Nee, ik zie net wel vir baie dankie vir almal wat gestem het. Ons moet vrede wees. Dit moet so wees. Ons moet mense wat gestem het, baie dankie sê.
Hoekom is dit belangrik om te stem? Hoekom moet ons stem?
Ons moet stem is ons dit wys, ons moet wil hê ons moet verander wees.
Baie dankie Tata Kulu.
Baie dankie.
Yes, a great clip there. It was Afrikaans Toivo. Titus Dadius is an employee at the town council in Rebot, saying in Afrikaans he thanked everyone who voted yesterday, and he also reminded us of the importance that we are able to do this in a peaceful way. What a testimony of our country.
Very, very important. I think that has been the characterization of this entire election so far, so it's good.
In the interview seat, we've got Francois Steinberg. She's one of the senior reporters at the Republican newspaper. Good morning, Francois.
Good morning, Dani. Good morning, Toyo. Good morning, viewers.
Starting with elections, you were at the Elisenheim polling station yesterday. And obviously, history is the first time. 5 years ago, Elisenheim wasn't really there. So first time there's a polling station there. And just tell us about your experience.
Yes, 5 years ago, I was a resident of Elisenheim and I wasn't able to vote there. So yesterday was really special for all the Elisenheimers for the first time to make history to vote there. The first person in line there was an old man, and he was standing there till early morning, and he really wanted to be the first voter. And of course, it opened late, about 7:20. And then he got inside, and still he had to wait. There were still some hiccups. But eventually, when he finished voting, he was really so happy and felt he was part of history. And also, Mr. Tu Mujoro was there, Chief Elections Officer. He was there the previous night and yesterday morning, and observing that everything went smoothly. Which it did. It was slowly, but there was a lot of excitement. Chairs, umbrellas, people with coffee, children, dogs. Last night I drove by about 8:30. The line was still very long. But yeah, people were standing there because they wanted to vote.
Francois, the ECN late yesterday also made a point of it that a lot of people in Windhoek went a bit outside the city to places like Arras and I suppose Elisenheim as well, because they thought we might be able to vote quicker here. So were there a lot of people outside Elisenheim also queuing there?
Yes, there were other people, and we also saw that at CI's. When I was at CI's yesterday afternoon, some people tried to vote at Elisenheim and other places, but they said no, the lines are too long. So they drove all the way to CI's to vote there.
So Toivo, yes, it seems that was one of the polling stations where things went better, but Francois was yesterday afternoon for many hours also at the Hosea Kutaku Airport police station holding cells. What do you think about this name that has now been accorded to this group, Fishrot 6? And what would you like to ask Francois about their experience there yesterday?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, Francois, you and Ronel did one hell of a job, because I had this movie picture of you guys chasing behind police vehicles with their sirens on, and you followed them, carrying the suspects to that station. How was it like, and what actually transpired on the ground?
Oh, yesterday was one of those joys of journalism days. It wasn't only the election. So we heard yesterday afternoon that the 6 suspects were at Windhoek police station. So we went there. They let me in, and one of the police officers said, "Just come with me, you with me." And then we got in the back offices and to the back side. When I got out there, they stopped us and they slammed the door close. Then we heard, okay, they're on our way to Siakutaku. So we ran outside. We saw the bus driving out of Windhoek police station. Renelle, my news editor, we got in her car and we just make a quick decision. We're going to follow them. So we followed them, but then we got stuck on the airport road behind a big truck and we lost them. So we went to Siakutaku police station first, and then we realized, no, they're not there. And we heard they're at CI's because there are single cells there. So we drove all the way there and we got there. At the police station, we were not very friendly received there. As soon as they realized we're from the media, they locked the office, they closed the curtains, and they told us, no, we are not allowed to take any photos. Yeah. And my question all the time to them is, to the police officers, why do these 6 get special treatment? Yeah. Because many times before, the police phone us, like for me, for instance, when rhino poachers are arrested, they invited us to the police station and said, please come take photos of the suspects. But this was totally different. In the end, they banned us from the police station. So they said, go outside. You're welcome to go outside the fences and take from their photos. So I got on a bakkie there, and the farmer later said, listen, I voted. It took me 30 minutes to vote, but I really have to drive back to my farm now. So I had to get off the bakkie. Yeah, and Runel was at another spot, and there she got lucky to take the video of one of the suspects. Mr. Gustavo, yeah.
That is a beautiful story of journalism. We haven't seen anything as crazy as that in a long time, and it takes us back to the days when journalism was really, and it's good to see us being part of that revival of the trade. But just a quick one, the suspects then went to vote. There are clips of them entering voting booths and taking casting their votes.
Yes. They were taken outside. We don't know. I was at the front door all the time, well, outside the fence, but Renelle was at the back. So she was lucky to get one of them, to get a video clip of one of them taking outside by police to vote.
It's very important, of course. They are still only suspects and accused persons.
Yes.
So they haven't been found guilty, and of course they retain their democratic right. Very, very quickly, Francois, what is the latest news regarding this court appearance?
Okay, so my news editor, Renelle Rademacher, she's at Windhoek Magistrates Court now. She said it's absolute chaos there. There are hundreds of people there. The media was left in first in the court. Also, there were body searches. Yeah, so I think safety and security there is very strict. So now they are waiting for the case to start.
Thank you very much, Francois. Now, some of those viewers might ask, what has this whole fish quota scandal got to do with elections? And the answer would most probably be everything, because of corruption being a major issue in the country at the moment. And we said we are going to speak to Eleni Nanjatu up in Oshakatu. That is Swapo country. Eleni, good morning. How are things up in Oshakati today?
Good morning, colleagues. How are you? I'm not in Oshakati, but I'm in. I was just covering Koto region, whereby I visited some police and many of them they have not counted yet, apart from Onayena constituency, whereby they had a total number of votes of 5,940, whereby on the presidential election, the Swapo Party candidates obtained 3,655, followed by the independent candidate 2,100, and the third is CTM candidate Mark Henry with 50 votes. At the other polling station, Olukon, they have not yet started the counting because apparently the machine is not functioning very well, and they are waiting for technician coming from hundreds of kilometers away. And at the Nipa constituency, they are also not yet started. They are just starting now when I passed a minute ago or a while ago. And other constituencies, they are still not yet started.
Okay, so Eleni, we are also hearing, I don't know if you are getting any feedback from Ahangwena, but I understand there are also interesting outcomes, of course, from individual polling stations so far. Have you got anything to say about that?
I have not really contacted have any verified information because I tried to call the returning officers that side, but they couldn't really give me any confirmed report, because some of them they are saying that they are busy verifying the results. They could not give them to the media. But what we are seeing, what is coming from that side is really a number of voters, a number of the hype in terms of the two leading candidates. That is how the current president and the independent candidate is seriously an issue of an interesting thing. That's right.
Just the last one quickly, Eleni, before I let you go. Last night you were running around with so much energy following the late drama that was happening, especially in Oshana, where until nearly 9 o'clock, some of the polling stations that were waiting for the mobile teams to arrive were still not attended to. How did that end?
Finally, the mobile team arrived at those polling stations late in the evening. I remember when they arrived at Marala, was still there. That was past 10 or past 22 in the evening. That is when they get to Marala. And people voted until, but the number of voters were declined because many people decided to go without voting. And it's also the same at Anguleni. Well, so it was also the same story. And what happened is that many people went without voting. And I don't know now at other stations, because it's obvious there must be other polling stations. And according to the Eastern official, apparently because they undermine maybe the population of those polling stations, then instead of making them fixed, they made mobile. Then due to the number of people that turn up to vote, they could not turn away those people. They had to make sure that those people have voted. And that is what happened. And apparently it's late now. Then the process for them to go to the polling station.
Eleni, Dani, I would like to ask the following. We are not up there. What is the mood like in those regions at the moment, considering that, I mean, it's SWAPO heartland. We know most of the country there. Omusati may be the biggest one of those, but we see that Itula, I think maybe according to me personally, doing better than I expected against President Geingob. So what is the mood, and are people talking about this, discussing this?
Yeah, if everywhere you go, everywhere you find people, they are on their phones, talking to their friends, talking to their colleagues. That is just the discussion everywhere you go. And some people, they are happy with the outcome at their polling station, but some they are a bit not quite happy or satisfied with the outcomes at those polling stations. It's quite a mixed feeling. As you said, the independent candidate, like in Ondangwa, where I visited in the morning, the independent candidate is leading most of the polling stations in Ondangwa urban constituency. The independent candidate is leading most of the polling stations. And whenever individual comes to view those results, some of them they are happy, but some of them seems quite not to be happy. Yeah, the mood is quite mixed.
Thank you very much, Eleni. We'll come back to you later in the day. Please keep those results coming. Yeah, yes?
Yes, and then we've got Frank. Then we've got Frank Stefan back in front here with us with some numbers, I believe. Frank, floor is yours.
Yeah, this is not about clips. This is about, if you look at the bottom of your screen, you will have these running totals, and they're obviously becoming more and more interesting the closer we reach the point where the final results are being announced. But this is exactly where Toivo previously pointed to those maps that we have, and they should not be disregarded. The number pundits can now start playing around on that interactive site. But we did a quick calculation a while ago, and obviously in the meantime there have been new results. But just to give you an idea, for the National Assembly, at the same point having counted the same areas in 2014, out of 93,838 registered voters, only 46,640 took part in the election. So we're down to a voter participation of 49.7%, which isn't as good as it used to be. Then on the presidential run, we had, for these areas that have been counted, we had 123,184, of which 66,281 had voted. So the participation, funny enough, there was higher at a 54%. But now what's interesting so far is that President Geingob has got, of those 66,000 votes, and they're now 70,000, but when we did the calculation, he had 34,339. So what it technically said, as in relation to what he had last time, he lost more than 31,000 to either other opponents or people who didn't rock up for election. So that's quite a major development, and we thought we wanted to share it. So for those of you who are interested in this sort of numbers game, go into the map and eat your heart out.
Thank you, Frank. I think, again, your calculations actually tally very much with what we are seeing coming out of the ECN official results. And, you know, of course, there are talks of a lot of people being turned away yesterday because of the late arrivals and technical issues. But, so that is one aspect. Another aspect is, like you are saying, that maybe some of the voters opted to divert their choices elsewhere.
Yeah, I think we'll need to see how it develops now, but this is obviously an interesting game now. I think for the first time after independence, we see that there are other people who've made a move forward, and that people are really making use of their democratic right to choose and to find the best answer for themselves. So whatever that answer is, we'll know by tomorrow, hopefully.
Thank you very much, Frank. Yes, coming back to you, Toivo, yes, I'm a bit worried about those figures. Of course, it's early days, but if our turnout is going to drop to something like 50% more or less, I believe it will be the lowest ever recorded. And then when one goes back to yesterday's news conference at the ECN, where they, words like was used like there were problems here and there. It was, minimized. But if it's going to have such a big effect on a turnout, I don't know how you feel about that.
You see, unfortunately, Danny, the way I see it is that, voter apathy also has its own, it's not a proportional thing to say the outcome of 10 people, the percentage of 10 people voting would have been the same as 5 people voting, because you don't know, those that are turned away, what their options would have been. So it benefits some formations, some political formations and political candidates, while it deprives others also of the same. So it's not a thing, and I agree totally that ECN yesterday was sort of belittling what was happening, but those are important democratic choices that people had to make, and you can't just say, well, they had, if they went back, as if it doesn't mean anything. There are people who cried literally because they couldn't cast their vote.
Indeed so, and we'd like to hear on Facebook in the comments what you think about these issues. Toivo, now in Republicaan's editorial of today, we make the following point amongst others, that it's not only the fault of the ECN that we're seeing these bad processes, and that people are in the end negatively affected by it. It's all of us that's responsible for that, because we have 5 years between elections. The opposition parties has got a responsibility, amongst others within the National Assembly, to try to address issues. We as a public can make certain demands. We've got open courts we can go to, but it seems, every time we wait until a month or two, or a week or two, or a day or two before the elections, and then this happens, and then we are very critical of the ECN. So do you agree that sorting out the ECN and electoral processes must be addressed in a much different way?
Look, ECN must take the bulk of the blame. They are the custodians of the process. But like you're saying, it's also correct to say that we are not very active. I saw Hank Mudge saying the other day that when they were trying to organize the opposition to oppose the use of EVMs without a paper trail, that it was only them and RDP that actually showed interest in the whole thing. So the entire crop of the rest of the crop of the opposition didn't want to participate. So now it had to take someone like Itula, who was only admitted as a candidate a month ago, perhaps, to sort of take the lead from that, to lead that process of challenging the matter. So I agree totally that we sit back during this off-season, and then when it's the election season, we come back and say, oh no, but we feel cheated, we feel this should have been done this way. It's not the best way to address things.
Many hot topics and discussions still coming today. Thank you for watching Namibia Media Holdings live election broadcast. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with you at 12 or shortly thereafter.
We lose ourselves in the spirit of things. We lose our sight when we put our trust in things of this material world, of things that fade away. Yet we keep coming back, 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 keep coming back. We lose ourselves in the spirit of things. We lose our sight when we put our trust in things of this material world, of things that fade away. Yet we keep coming back, keep coming back, keep coming back, keep coming back.
Van dis ons land, dis ons taal. En sonder soek aan ons gaan stories. Maar we lewe in die duine, hoog gebou in sand. Die helder see en die goue stad.
We lose ourselves in the spirit of things. We lose our sight when we put our trust in things of this material world, of things that fade away. Yet we keep coming back, 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 keep coming back.
Welcome back to Namibia Media Holdings live broadcast, Elections 2019, and we have some new results in Toivu. How has the picture changed?
Okay, so Danny, we have a fluctuation of results. Let's start looking at the presidential election so far. This is where most people, I suppose, have a lot of interest. So President Geingob a while ago was at 49%. Now he's at 45% of the vote. Of course, as a matter of fact, before I go to that, let's just remind the viewers that 15 constituencies have been counted so far. So the new ones that came in now is Riobot Rural, Chunchuni, it's in Kavango West, Tondoro in Kavango West, Samara Machel in Comas, and then Karibib constituency in Erongo region, and Ondangwa Eben constituency in Oshana. So when these 5 constituencies came through, we see now that Itula has picked up slightly. He was at 25% earlier, now he's at 34%. So there's 10% separating the two men, Dr. Geingob and Dr. Itula there. And Swart Boy, the new kid on the block, in 3rd position with 7%, followed, of course, by Mark Henry Venani at number 4 and UDF in number 5. So those are the top 5 presidential candidate results. And then we go to National Assembly. So essentially again, so National Assembly, let me see here, let me just refresh, and National Assembly election results. Let's see if they remain the same. So nearly 80% of the votes cast. SWAPO with 39,000 so far, followed by PDM. So you see now that on the presidential race, SWAPO is at number 2, but in the National Assembly vote, PDM is number 2, basically switching places, the two of them. So that is what it is. I'm not sure, Danny, what percentage this would represent. If SWAPO has 39,000 votes out of 78, roughly what that would be. But that is the picture so far.
Yes, thank you, Toivu. So interesting. I just it looks also like the work that the official opposition, the PDM, has put in, because they were very active as a political party, that it paid off. If one looks at the results at polling stations that we've seen already.
This is the surprising thing, Danny, is I was just looking at some results that are coming in now. I think it's somewhere in Oshana. It should be on Ondangwa, perhaps, somewhere in Ondangwa there, where PDM actually has 4,000 votes in an entire constituency. 4,000, that is a massive, massive number for PDM. In that part of the country. So it speaks exactly to what you're saying, that they have put in a lot of work.
Yes, but remember still, that's only 15 out of the 121 constituencies. It's a bit more than 10%, but a lot of water still has to flow into this election sea. We're going to take a very short break. We'll be back within a couple of minutes.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Okito Craig. I write for Republican and for NMH. I'm here at the Oshikoto regional offices in Chumeb, and we are all waiting in tension and suspense while the ECN officials are in the back finalizing the coalition and the putting together of the results from yesterday's election. There have been technical issues with the EVMs, which has delayed the process, and right now all the officials are locked up in a room in the constituency building, and the observers are there and the police are there. They are all busy collecting the results and fixing the problems with the EVMs. So we wait in tension, and we will be reporting back to you as soon as they release the results. Thank you for your patience, and see you later. Goodbye.
I'm the regional coordinator for Oshogunshupa region for the Electoral Commission of Namibia. We just had concluded our presidential and our National Assembly. When it comes to my staff, these are the first people I have to really thank from the bottom of my heart. Tireless, they've been working day and night, and for weeks the training was not very easy, it was tough. Some people had to learn new skills, especially with machines, but they've made it. We didn't have problems, we kept on reinforcing whatever we were teaching them. And I just have to say thank you to them all sleeping here nights. And we have been up for almost 48 hours now. But yes, we have delivered. As I want to say thank you very much. It's our men in uniform. They have been fantastic. They have been carrying us through. They've made sure things are safe. And thanks for the nation to come out and vote.